our Senior Advisor for National Security and Foreign Policy, Rick Grenell, and we've got a lot to talk about with Rick. I want to talk right off the bat, Rick, this escalation in the Persian Gulf between Iran and U.S. forces. We've now had to take a situation where there were these reported incidents, but no shots fired. Now, warning shots have been fired by the United States for the first time in 4 years. It only happened once under the Trump administration early on in 2017, but it happened at what it felt like fairly often under the Obama-Biden years. And here we are back again with this release of this audio to the New York Times, and now again Iran taking aggressive action against our troops in the waterways there. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, my first thought about the waterway is thank God that the Americans have to get to care less about the waterway simply because we've had this explosion of our own energy sources, liquid natural gas. We're trying to get off Middle East oil, which is fantastic. Under the Trump administration, we really made huge progress there. But make no mistake, when the Iranians pick fights in the region with us or our allies, the Americans are going to have to respond. We have to make sure that they understand that. Interesting enough, though, there's this growing sense in Europe that America is withdrawing from that region, that we are caring less than we have in the past about violations in the Straits. And so the Europeans, I think, are getting a lot more concerned. And we've seen that with some reporting from the intelligence agencies out of Germany.
Yeah, I want to talk about that one, Rick, because German intelligence agency is specifically out of the state of Bavaria. You, of course, were our U.S. ambassador to Germany, so you know the situation well. They have issued a report that says the Islamic Republic of Iran has not ceased, this is not a shock, but now it's confirmed, its drive to obtain weapons of mass destruction during 2020. And, of course, they talk about proliferation with North Korea, Syria, and Pakistan. But let me tell you what had me the most concern, and you probably experienced it firsthand, and that is the Iranians' chief strategic ally in the Middle East is Hezbollah. We know that. So Iran's a proxy for Hezbollah, or Hezbollah is a proxy for Iran. They have reported 30 members in Bavaria and 1,050 Hezbollah members across Germany. Now, this was an outlaw. It's now deemed an outlawed group in Germany. They're not there for a good purpose. What is happening there?
Well, first of all, let's give a little perspective. Bavaria is like Texas. It's a conservative part of Germany. It's governed a little bit independently, like a state. And the Bavarian intelligence services are very good. The fact that this reporter from the Jerusalem Post, Benjamin Wiesenthal, got this information is really good. I would instruct people to follow Ben Wiesenthal. He lives in Jerusalem. He's an American, and he speaks German. And he's really, really good. I have to say that this is very concerning. But, Jay, one of the big things about German intelligence is that German politicians really don't pay attention to it. There's not a system where they're regularly briefed. It's up to the German intelligence services to get really aggressive with law enforcement and politicians to do something. There isn't a system in Germany where the politicians automatically get briefed and listen and react. So this report should be taken very seriously by the Western Alliance.
I want to go to Harry Hutchinson to just follow up what you said, because he reacted as soon as you said that, Rick. The fact that they're not listening to their own the state's intelligence reports kind of tells you where Europe's head's at.
Absolutely. So the elites that lead the European governments are all too willing to cravenly capitulate to Iranian aggression and to reward Iranian aggression. And Iran remains an international threat, particularly in the realm of both terror and weapons of mass destruction. And I think at the end of the day, this reflects European antipathy toward the nation-state of Israel.
I go ahead, Rick. I see you commenting. Go.
I was just going to say he's exactly right. We have this problem in Europe, and specifically with Germany, that politicians somehow are afraid to get briefed on intelligence, they feel like it's dirty or too detailed, or it's just things that they shouldn't be dealing with. They leave it up to the intelligence services, but the intelligence services, they basically just come to the Americans and to the British and to others. And so we're left to be the interagency, the Americans are, for European governments. We have to go to people like Chancellor Merkel and go to individuals in the German government and say, did you see your own intelligence report? And 9 times out of 10, they say, actually, I hadn't seen it. And so if we don't bring it up and say, Hezbollah is living amongst you, and now you're exactly right, Jay, Hezbollah is outlawed in Germany. And so they have the tools. They should act quickly. They should arrest these individuals, and the rest of Europe should follow Germany.
Yeah, I mean, this is the question is, will they take that kind of action, Rick? So when we confront them with the intel, so they try to ignore it, then we confront them with the intel. Do they take the action? I mean, with your time there, like if they found out about this terrorist group or cell, they designated them as part of Hezbollah, a Hezbollah terrorist group. So they've got, as you said, the tools to do it, the power to do it. But will they, or is it all eyes on money and deals with Iran?
Jordan, you'd be a great ambassador because you just totally nailed half of my job as ambassador to Germany, which is you can present them the information, you can lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make them drink. And so usually what they do is they say, well, we need more information. Where did you get this? And then we get stuck because we can't reveal sources and methods.
So I guess it comes down to this. The Iranians are obviously up to no good while they're trying to negotiate with us, the United States, to get back into this nuclear deal, which they're never going to follow. And then they they circle the war trips. Yeah, go ahead.
And the Europeans know it. Exactly the point is that the Europeans understand. Remember that when the Europeans give their statement on Iran, we share the same goal with the Europeans. The Europeans always say, our goal is to deny Iran a nuclear weapon. Where we differ is on the tactics, how aggressively to be. The Europeans want engagement. We feel we tried engagement. Engagement doesn't work. We're getting duped when we continue with engagement because now, through the Israeli locker information that was uncovered by the Israelis, we know the Iranians lied to John Kerry about the number of centrifuges, about the enrichment activities, the places that they were enrichment. All of that was a lie. And we built the JCPOA on the assumptions that we had because the Iranians told us something. It boils down to John Kerry trusted the Iranians, and he's been proven over and over not to trust the Iranians.
What is your thoughts on this whole situation with John Kerry that's going on right now? I mean, he is on the National Security Council, so he's got a high-ranking position within the Biden administration. They're saying, of course, nothing. They're circling their wagons to protect him. Meanwhile, you had Zarif, a tape was released saying, oh, John Kerry told me about Israeli covert action that was taking place.
This is not the first time. There's lots of evidence. John Kerry has been doing this undercutting of U.S. policy since he's been out of office. It's outrageous. If any Trump administration official did it now, they would be hauled in by DOJ. Here's my reaction, Jay. Where is the Department of Justice?
Yeah, well, they're doing other things. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, it's not a priority. And when it's not a priority, that's where elections have consequences. When it's not a priority, guess what? This kind of stuff happens. I mean, we should be worried. We should be concerned for our troops that this kind of situation, Rick, in Iran with the warships took place just a few days ago. That has to have Americans concerned.
And there needs to be an American reaction, a tough reaction, so that the Iranians know that the Biden administration is not weak.
All right, Rick Grenell, Senior Advisor to the American Center for Law and Justice. We appreciate your analysis on this, especially on that the German side of this. You know it better than anybody. You're the U.S. Ambassador to Germany. Thank you so much.